And once I knew what I was dealing with, I began to do the work. That's where my work began. Testing 1, 2, 3. What the heck is going on with me? I said, let's see. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel where we help you with self-care, mindset shifts, and empowerment to thrive in your purpose. Today we're here to talk about something that a lot of people struggle with, and that is self-care. Here's a big question. Is self-care really selfish? Spoiler alert, it's not. In fact, self-care is one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself and for those around you. Let's dive in. Hey there, and welcome to my channel where I help empower women to thrive through self-care, mindset shifts, and abundance. And I'm going to ask for forgiveness as of this moment for the fact that I do have a child in the background. She's not in this room, but this is the reality of living a single mom's life. Was never my intention, but that's where I'm at. So anywho, back to my subject at hand. Today, we're diving into the topic of trauma. It's an essential topic to discuss when we have been through various things in life. And it is something I don't think we really dive too deep into. We kind of generalize it. And so I just wanted to do a little bit of a deeper dive into it. Have you ever wondered how past experiences might be influencing the way your mindset is, choices and decisions that you're making in your current everyday life choices? Let's explore what trauma really is and how it can impact your path to growth. So, what exactly is trauma? I hope I'm looking into the camera. Forgive me. Still kind of new to this recording thing, but the talking, I got that. So what I'm also doing too, I want to make sure I give the words properly and not misquote what the definition of trauma is. And so I'm going to actually read it from my notes over here. So trauma is an emotional response to a deeply distressing or disturbing event, such as a loss, abuse, neglect, or even prolonged stress. It doesn't always have to be something major. It can stem from smaller, repeated incidents that leave a lasting impression. So the key is trauma is not about the event itself, but it's about how you processed it and stored it in your body. Now, the impacts of that is what you're really experiencing. So, the thing with trauma is it can show up as fear, shame, self-doubt, and it could also show up as difficulty trusting people and setting the right boundaries. And so here is where mindset comes in, because trauma affects our mindsets directly and can really impacts how we think, how we perceive, how we approach things in life, even how we interact with the world. Here are a few ways that it shows up. Negative beliefs. Trauma can make us believe that we are incapable or unworthy. These limiting beliefs can hold us back from pursuing our dreams. Sadly, I've experienced that myself. Not feeling the capability to accomplish certain things because of where I've been, and it took me a long time to build myself back up and to believe in myself. And it took surrounding myself with the right people. Maybe I'm jumping the gun, but we're going to move on to the next one. And we'll discuss in detail as we go along a little bit more of my story. Fear-based thinking. Fear-based thinking. It can lead to constant overthinking, second guessing, or expecting the worst. Emotional triggers. Certain situations, words, events, the person might trigger past memories, causing us to react in ways we don't fully understand. Physical stress. Trauma doesn't just stay in our mind. It often lives in the body, leading to other effects, such as headaches, fatigue, tension, or even other conditions that nobody wants to find out about. And I know that all too well. Not that we don't want to find out if we have a condition, we just don't want to have to deal with the new symptom or condition because of trauma. I relate with the negative beliefs. I relate with the fear-based thinking. I relate with emotional triggers. I relate with physical stress. So now we're up to healing from trauma. Let's talk about that. That's the place we all want to be if that's what we're dealing with, right? Here's the good news. Healing from trauma is possible. It's not an overnight process. That's true. It's not overnight. But every small step counts. So here are some ways to start shifting your mindset and reclaiming your power. Awareness. Begin by recognizing how past experiences might be influencing your present. Journaling or talking to someone you trust, such as a friend or a therapist, can help. Then there's self-care practices. I'm big on that. Simple acts like mindfulness, meditation, deep breathing can help you reconnect with yourself, with your body. And reconnecting with your body, it really gives you a sense of safety and security. Empowerment. Empowerment is one of my because I just love to empower people, and I truly believe that everyone can and will succeed in any and everything that they set their mind to. Surround yourself with people, content, or activities that will help remind you of what you are capable of and what you hold inside, because you are capable. And I want you to remember that trauma does not define you. It's a part of your story that could actually be turned around for your good, as the good word says. And it's up to you to write a different ending versus where you had to take a detour and have to face trauma, unfortunately. I've been there. You're not alone. I've been through some trauma, and I can tell you right now that you are not alone, and you are perfectly capable of making it to the other side. Because after what I went through, I knew that I was traumatized, and I didn't sit around trying to figure out. I didn't keep my focus on what I went through. Yes, I kind of nursed it and rehearsed it for a little bit because I did come out of that. I spoke with friends and such, and I had a lot of crying sessions, a lot of down days, but I understood my why, and I refused to remain where that person pushed my mental space to be. I refused, not only for my sake, but for my child. And I just knew I was not going to stay there forever in that dark space that I was in. And when I got out, it was still dark. It was light. It was like seeing the light at the end of the tunnel while still being in the dark, even though I was out of it. But I did the work. I did the deep inner work. I did what I had to do. I could go on forever, but I'm going to actually pause right now because I want to continue down explaining what trauma is and what you can do to better yourself. You know what? I'm going to go for it. So this is what I'll do. I'll do just a quick, brief mini story time. So I was married, and my marriage was not the best. And as I continued on that journey of being married to someone who did not see my worth or value, I began to fall into that dark place of accepting the fact that I was being beat down daily at the most unexpected times, verbally. I'm gonna leave it at that. For now, we're gonna leave it there. It was a lot of verbal. And not that I'm trying to, I know some people be like, oh, don't protect the person. Well, there's various circumstances, various reasons that I will not go into deep details. And I still have a child with him. So at the end of the day, I still have to be aware and be mindful of how I deliver certain things. Anyway, it kind of started off where you're being what they call love bombed, where you're being constantly wooed and loved on in a way that you believe is love, but then there's all these signs popping up everywhere, red flags everywhere, left and right. And yet, it's okay. I could deal with it. It's not a big deal. So forgiving. Let me let this go. Not a bit. Don't question what needs to be questioned. So I let a lot slide by until one day I just randomly, it was one of those arguments, and as he walked away, I just said to myself, that's verbal abuse. And that probably was the Holy Spirit telling me that's what it was. Like, wake up. This is what you're dealing with. You accepted it, but you might want to wake up to the reality of what you're facing. And so I started researching. Mind you, I went to school, and so I understand the signs of abuse, and they told us all this stuff. You learn it in school and all kinds of stuff. But me, never in a million years would I have thought that would have been my life. That would have been my story. That would have been my reality. And the more I dug, the more I saw. Oh, that's who I'm married to. Wow. The definitions were there. Textbook definition. I'm not even going to use the word that people use to describe the kind of person I discovered I was actually married to, because I don't want to fall into that category of giving that kind of definition, because it has to be clinically diagnosed and all of that. And I'm like, I'm not a psychologist. Yes, I'm in the medical field. So I understand how to do my research and understand what you're dealing with. So once I discovered that, it's like the veil was removed. And now I knew what I was dealing with. And once I knew what I was dealing with, I began to do the work. That's where my work began. In the middle of trauma, I started working on me, and I didn't know it. I look back now as the last 6 months in my new venture of delving into the world of digital marketing since July. We're in December now. And I didn't really understand how I was going to get to this point that I'm at right now. But I'm almost losing my train of thought. What was my point? Self-discovery in the midst of trauma. Oh, that's where I was going. So back on track. I kind of lost my train of thought. Not realizing that I would be at this point where I'm ready to share with the world, with whomever it is, that life that needs to be touched. I'm getting emotional. I just felt this wave of emotions hit me. That person who needs to hear this, because when I was in that place, I didn't discover too many people who were in the place I was doing YouTube videos. I came across a lot of therapists. I came across a lot of deep healers, but I didn't find too many of me, the people who were actually in it, the people who came out of it. And all I could find at that time was blogs, people journaling online, talking about their experiences, and others commenting because they can relate, they can connect. And I was mind blown. I was shocked at how many people said, me too. I went through that. That's what I experienced. That's what I had to deal with. And it was like in that moment, I was like, wow, when I come out of this, I'm going to write a book. I felt really led by God that I'm going to write a book. I'm going to help somebody, was my thought. I'm in trauma and I'm trying to empower people in the future. It's not a laughing matter, but I'm just like mind blown right now how I truly believed I was going to be helping people. And I've always wanted to help people. I loved helping people, and I still do. And in my darkest days, I was able to realize I'm going to be helping people, because what I'm digging and searching for, it was scattered all over the place. It wasn't a one size fits all. I was searching online. Every time I look up the definition, every time I look up things related to what I was going through, I found it on random websites. And then I found a couple of people, a couple of YouTubers, psychiatrists and psychologists and healers, pastors. I came across a pastor. A couple of those people I latched onto, and I would watch these in secret. I would watch it when he wasn't around. These things that they gave me in those moments empowered me and gave me hope, and also let me know I got to get the heck up out of this mess that I was in. And I did that, but I didn't do it alone. That's the other side. You need a support team to get out of some mess like that. Maybe you don't. You could pack up your kid, yourself, your child, whatever it is that you need, and run away. Go hide out somewhere. That's what I thought I was going to have to do. I really thought I was going to have to go hide somewhere. And I kept trying to figure out how I was going to do this. And then this thought, this image, this idea of what it would look like the night I would be leaving was what I had in my head. Through prayer, trusting that God was going to have my back no matter what, was what got me out of there. My family and friends, the support I had is what got me out of there. And I know not a lot of people have family and support and friends and whatnot. And so that's why I want to be able to share my story some more and eventually with more details. And I want to be like that support person in a sense. So you know that you're not alone. You don't have to continue living like that. That does not have to be your permanent lifestyle. And I knew that God had more for me. And in order for me to do that, I had to get out. And I understand I'm a believer, but I'm not a Bible thumper in the sense where I'm going to say, stay in trauma and get beat down to death before you get out. No. God has so much for us in store. And sometimes, unfortunately, the choices we make lands us in certain positions. And sometimes it's his permission and sometimes it's permissible. Sometimes he allows us to continue down the path we have chosen because he's given us that free will to make choices and decisions on our own. And sometimes he'll take that situation and allow it to turn your life around and impact you in a way that you didn't even see coming. Because he turns it around for our good, does he not? And I can say I'm a witness to that because I know he's turned my life around. I'm still on the journey. But guess what? I'm so much further than I was. I've come a long way. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. We're all learning on this journey. Not everybody's we don't get everything right then and there. It's an ongoing process we are all going through. And along the journey, we all need help. I don't care how big a person is, how well known, how popular, how famous. Everybody's got somebody to lean on. And if you don't, that is one of my purposes, is to be that person who is here to push you along the journey through my story, through my messages, through my guidance. And I hope that it can help you. I'm going to get off my soapbox now because I could be on here for a while. And I got more to share. And I feel like a lot of my experiences definitely will be of benefit to someone. Because as I saw, I was not the only one going through what I was going through. I'm not saying that I speak bad on people's lives. But the reality is, this is a world full of people doing crazy things. It's just the way of the world, unfortunately. But it is up to us to make the right choices, the right decisions for the rest of our lives to be lived in a more peaceful manner. Life is not perfect, but all we could do is make the best of it. All right? So if this resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to join me on this journey of healing, self-care, and abundance. On this journey of healing, self-care, and empowerment. And so in the next video, we'll be diving more into how self-care and mindset can help shift your life and create lasting changes. So stay tuned. So until next time, remember, you are more than your past. You are worthy of abundance and success. Let's thrive together. I'll talk to you all soon.